Tonight we're going in depth on the continued financial dumpster fire at the Oklahoma State Department of Mental Health and Substance Abuse Services, because today, instead of giving answers about their finances, the agency told lawmakers they don't know how bad things are, they need help, and there was even talk of possible fraud and corruption within the agency. Today's hearing showed things aren't just bad, they're downright terrible. Frustration now boiled over into downright anger.
I have zero confidence that our finance team is able to tell me whether or not there are funds to be able to make payroll.
State lawmakers held another round of hearings with the leaders of the State Department of Mental Health and Substance Abuse Services, and Commissioner Allie Friesen simply said her agency cannot get to the bottom of its multi-million-dollar deficit.
We realize how frustrating and infuriating this is. These numbers are changing not because we're indecisive or disorganized, but because we are, for the first time in a very long time, uncovering the full depth of financial instability that has been hidden under layers of dysfunction.
One lawmaker was told out in the open the spreadsheets he was looking at were not even worth the paper they were printed on.
Any spreadsheets that may be going from there's not a tremendous amount of confidence in those.
In addition to an entire agency tens of millions of dollars in debt, there is now a rush to approve $23 million more for the agency just to make sure their payroll checks won't bounce. Last week, Fox 23 reported many employees working at the department were told the agency is so broke there was a chance employees could miss one or even two paychecks.
I feel like the House and the Senate are saying we're going to keep payroll, but after that, nothing else happens until we have a better understanding of what their numbers are.
Oklahoma City Republican Senator Paul Racino is the head of the Senate Health and Human Services Committee. His outrage that the agency doesn't know how bad things really are was clearly seen.
I'm at a point where I don't think we're getting down to any significant number, and we've been doing this for months and months and months. And the taxpayers of Oklahoma, the people who need services, the people who we provide services for, are not getting those answers either.
Racino says the agency doesn't need any more money in next year's budget. He says the agency is well funded. It just can't manage its finances in a responsible and accountable way.
I don't think they need more money. I just don't think they have the sophistication to figure it out. And until they do, I think it would be irresponsible of us to approve a larger budget when we don't even know what they really need.
Sapulpa Republican State Representative Mark Lawson has been chairing the special hearings and said the priority is to make sure people who actually did work for the state get paid. As for the agency's finances itself, he says there's still lots of work to do, and lawmakers deserve better answers.
If there was anything to take away from today, it was that they can't do it the way that they've been doing it. They need additional help, and we stand at the ready to help them get to that good number.
So how badly in the hole is the Department of Mental Health and Substance Abuse Services? The truth of the matter is, especially after today's hearing, no one really knows, but it's a lot. We are going to stick with the number $63 million in debt because that is what was first reported to lawmakers and shared with reporters. The Department of Mental Health has said they think their number is possibly around $40 to $63 million in debt. The Legislative Office of Fiscal Transparency says they believe it could be more than $20 to $30 million. But in all, today, lawmakers were told any budget projections presented to them by the agency to work with are not reliable. The guessing game isn't just frustrating for you and me, the taxpayer. Listen to one lawmaker today asking for a solid number and being told, I don't know, by the head of the agency. And listen closely, because the commissioner's also going to say there's been a lot of cover our butt actions lately with other staffers that have diluted the real numbers.
We talk about some basic questions. We talk about the budgetary cycle. We still can't get to the numbers. Week 3, we get into Loft that looks at their information, the best that they can figure out. We're still upside down somewhere between 27 and $29 million is what they're showing, but that doesn't seem to correlate with the folks over at your facility. And now we received a preliminary budget on Friday that seems to be that's not an accurate budget either. But now we're here today talking about the payroll, which is the imminent, obviously, and all we're talking about is payroll. What other bills, if you don't have enough to make payroll, what other bills or obligations do we have just to get us through to June 30th before the new budget cycle that we don't even know what that number is going to be July 1st? I mean, just help me understand this. I get your frustration, but you've got to understand ours too. on this with the money and not being able to account for some money, and then we're over here, we're under on others. Just help me understand this.
I certainly do share your frustration, and I've made an effort today to highlight how frustrating this has to be for you all. I can't give you those answers right now, and that's why I'm here today, is to be forthcoming and honest and say that we need help. We are uncovering a lot and starting to make sense of some of it, but every time we make sense of something, then we have another curveball. We thought we were confident with where we were, and come to find out there's an enormous piece of information that, for whatever reason, was withheld from us. So the culture of fear and make the department look good has been the priority. And I can certainly understand why that's the preference, because I don't think that any of you are having fun, and I'm not having a great time. But we can't just make things look good.
Attorney General Gentner Drummond, for the second time in less than a week, called for the firing of the woman you just heard from, Commissioner Friesen, saying she's waited too long to report how bad her agency's finances are. He says, quote, Commissioner Friesen offered no satisfactory answers for the agency's ability or inability to meet payroll obligations. The commissioner is simply not equipped for the job, and she never was. Governor Stitt hired a counselor who doesn't have a license to run our mental health department, nor does she have the leadership experience. Is it any wonder the department is in a financial meltdown? Governor Stitt says he will not fire Friesen and has previously said she was put there to find wrongdoing and bring it to light. Instead, he signed an executive order issuing 3 actions on Friday. 1, a nationally respected independent financial expert will be brought in to take temporary control of the department's finances. 2, the governor will name a well-regarded attorney with experience in complex investigations to conduct a full and independent review of the agency. And 3, the CEO of the Oklahoma Health Care Authority will conduct a full top-to-bottom review of all Medicaid and federal functions within the agency.